Hi, I'm Dr. Paul, and I want to share our story of how we raised two wonderful children. Our daughter Rachel will be graduating from medical school next year from University of Rochester, and she was accepted from high school in a BA MD program. And our son Joseph just graduated from MIT, and he's staying another year to get his master's. And from high school, he was accepted by Early Action. For many years, my family and close friends has been encouraging me to write a book to help other parents raise their children. But I was just too busy. And since I retired last year and I have some time in my hand, I figure I go on YouTube and share my story, hope to help other parents. I want to tell you this is my personal story, so this might not apply to everybody, but I am hoping you might find something that might help you. First of all, fathers have to get involved in children's education. I wish I could tell you my kids were self-motivated and they were overachievers, but that wasn't the case. It took a lot of planning and hard work for many years, and my happy journey started with loving my wife. For me to get involved with my kids' life, I had to have their respect and their love. Well, I had to win their heart. And I found out the best way to win their heart was to love one person that meant most to them. That was my wife, their mother. They did a study on a children's vital sign when parents get into a fight. And their vital signs were very similar to soldiers fighting in the battlefield. And in bad cases, this trauma would last them a lifetime. Now what's interesting is that when parents get into a fight, most children are on mom's side. And moms, as you know, are very protective toward their kids. Now, this very special and strong bond is created by brain chemical called oxytocin. And this oxytocin is so strong and addictive, it is more powerful than dopamine, which is released by drugs. Now, this is the reason why most mothers are willing to give their life for their children. Many parents make mistake of carelessly fighting in front of their children. But when it comes to making up or apologizing, they do it in their own privacy. And they act like nothing ever happened. Now, this is very confusing for their children. And also, kids will never learn the full dynamics of a loving relationship. Don't get me wrong, we have our disagreements, but we make sure we kiss and make up in front of our children before the day is over. And immediately, you could see their faces brighten up and they find their peace and security again. Let's face it, children's world evolve around mom and dad. And when that two worlds collides and seems to be crashing down, their first reaction is to fix the problem. And when they realize they can't help fixing the problem, their second reaction is self-defense. They're shutting themselves down emotionally. And when this repeats over and over again, they become more and more distant from us emotionally. Oxytocin is released from our brain when we experience skinship, a hug, a kiss, or like romantic behaviors, and so on. So we call this a love potion. Mother's oxytocin for their baby gradually increases during their pregnancy. And after the birth, it spikes up, especially when they're breastfeeding. Same with the baby. As soon as they're born and they experience skinship and breastfeeding, their oxytocin for their mom spikes up as well. So this creates unbreakable bonding. And oxytocin also helps mom go into labor and also release milk for breastfeeding. Now, oxytocin for their husband gradually decreases during the pregnancy. So this is time when the ladies are falling out of love from their husband but falling in love with their baby. This can be so confusing for man and the woman. Now, ladies have very high dose of oxytocin toward their children from pregnancy, birth, and till they leave home. And likewise, children also have very high dose of oxytocin toward their mom until they're in teens and other hormones kicks in and they want to become independent. Now, where does this leave us men? Many men make a mistake of trying to find their own interest in life. In reality, you should stay and produce your own oxytocin toward your family and their oxytocin toward you. As a medical doctor, I realized this at very early stage of our marriage. So when my wife was pregnant with our first child, I made sure she understood how much I appreciated her, and I understand the discomfort and the fear she's going through. And I told her I will be with her every step of the way. And I showed this to my wife by spending all my free time with her, despite my busy schedule. And I stopped meeting my friends and colleagues outside of the work. My wife was experiencing severe mood swings, but she was mostly happy. And I really didn't know what to do with her mood swings. But I figured only way for me to stay connected to her was take a part in this crazy roller coaster ride. I knew the best way for me to win my wife's heart was by loving our children as much as she did. And I also knew best way for me to win our kids' heart was by loving their mom more than they did. And I just had to show this on our daily lives. So when I used to come home from work, Rachel and Joseph used to race to the door and try to give me their kisses and hugs. But I always say, mother first. So mom gets to kiss me and hug me first, and then it was Rachel, and then it was Joseph. And this gave them a sense of security and sense of order in the family. So when I came home from work, regardless of how tired I was, I went straight into the kitchen and helped my wife, because I knew how much she struggled there with kids and the housework. So my kids naturally watched us loving, talking, and laughing together. And after dinner, my wife took care of my kids and I took care of the kitchen work. And when that is done, we play family games such as Marco Polo, hide and seek, Monopoly, and after that, we both prepare our kids for bed, we tuck them in, and we had our own quality time. Now, I know for a fact if I didn't help with the housework, she'd be working till the bedtime and she would not have energy left for me. When Joseph was little, one time he had his friends over at our house and they're just running around everywhere. And me and my wife was cuddling at the sofa watching TV. And one of his friends stood in front of us with a smile, just looking at us. So I asked him, what's the matter? And he said, I've never seen my parents cuddle like this. And Joseph proudly said, like, my mom and dad cuddle all the time and they kiss all day. In fact, when my eyes meet my wife's eyes, I smile and give her a kiss, or I give her some sort of skinship. And by doing this, my oxytocin for her was surging, and also her oxytocin was surging for me. And by doing this, we built an unbreakable bonding in the family. If you want your children to really understand your true love and your best interest for them, you have to win their heart. But there is a caution. We as a parent should never compete each other for children's love. Now, if this repeats over and over again, they will use this in their favor, and they will grow up to be uncontrollable and ungrateful children. Honestly, this wasn't easy at first. It took a lot of work, persistence, and consistency, and it went on for 27 years and more. But honestly, this is where I am happiest, so I never want to stop doing it.